All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NinjaTrader Ecosystem webinar room. Before we get started today, I do want to take a moment to test for picture and sound. So if you can clearly hear my voice and see the projection in the room, please do me a favor and type a Y in the room. All right. Some of you are old pros and already doing this, so I appreciate the confirmation. I also want to thank everyone for joining us today. My name is Jared Meyer, and I work here in our NinjaTrader Denver office on our business development team. We have a very special event for you today with John Rawlins of QuantCycles. And now, before we go any further, I do want to do a quick poll. So I'm going to start this for everybody. If you would just do me a favor and please choose number 1, 2, or 3 on the poll screen. That will give us an understanding of what types of tools or services you've used from NinjaTrader previously. While everyone is filling out that poll, I do want to mention that it is important to understand that there are substantial risks in trading commodity futures contracts and Forex. You should carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you, and that will depend on your specific circumstances and financial resources. It is possible to lose all the funds deposited with your broker, and you could even incur losses beyond these amounts. Please inquire at the link I'm going to post in the room here. It's ninjatraderecosystem.com/risk-disclosure. More information or for a copy of the CFTC full risk disclosure. Also, please do remember these training webinars are not a solicitation or recommendation, but simply educational in nature. All right. And also, this is a reminder that this presentation is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting NinjaTrader trading software. Any brokerage-related questions should be directed to the NinjaTrader brokerage directly at 312-262 or by emailing brokerage-sales@ninjatrader.com. And I'll put that information in the room here as well for anyone that would like to contact our brokerage. There's the phone number and the emails coming shortly. All right, I do want to thank everyone for filling out this poll today. It looks like about half of the folks in the room, or a little over half, are using indicators and strategies from our ecosystem. So it's fantastic. We're happy to see you in the room. A little over 10% of you have used education. Just a couple people have used our programming services, and almost a third of you have not used anything from our ecosystem. So I do want to let everyone know that we do have new tools added nearly every day. The NinjaTrader ecosystem is home to hundreds of apps and services. You can quickly and easily find the tools or services you're looking for with a simple keyword search. You also find information about upcoming webinars and on-demand video archive to view event recordings. And here's a link to that here right now. Also, if you're active on social media, please ensure to like or follow us. The best way to get updates on all things NinjaTrader ecosystem. And you can follow us on Twitter. You can also like us on Facebook. There's more links there for you. And to ensure you're on the latest version of NinjaTrader and to pick up a free live data trial, please visit the following link, which is this guy here. And for those of you that maybe are looking to purchase or lease NinjaTrader, I'm going to provide you with that as well. And finally, we do have daily training education from our very, very talented support team. So if you're interested in learning more about using the platform itself, please follow the link I just placed in the room there. I'm going to go ahead and conclude this poll. Thank you, everyone, for participating. And I want to let everyone know we are very excited for this unique event in which John Rawlins gives us a complete overview of the QuantCycles Forecasting Indicator. Thanks again to everyone for your attendance today. And without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the NinjaTrader Ecosystem webinar room, John Rawlins. Please go ahead and take it away, John.
Good afternoon. This is John Rawlins, and I really appreciate you guys joining us in our webinar today. I am broadcasting to you live from St. Simons Island, Georgia, and we're going to go straight to the overview and give you a little background. I am the founder of the QuantCycles Forecasting Indicator. I've been working with computerized cyclical analysis for over 40 years, And I got my inspiration from the book Profit Magic of Stock Transaction Timing by J.M. Hurst. It was a book that was published back in the 60s, and he was one of the first stock analysts that really got into the application of a very basic Fourier, which is a Fourier analysis, which is a computerized cyclical analysis algorithm. And back then, of course, it was very basic in the way he did the calculations. And I was fortunate enough to meet a very advanced aerospace engineer that had developed his own derivatives of the Fourier application. And so we were able to basically start applying this to data, even with some of the primitive computers that we had back then. In fact, my first computer was in 1979. It was a Heath Zenith CPM language computer that had no internal memory, and we drove everything from 2 7-inch floppy drives. So we were very, very basic, but in the beginning, doing some very unique testing of historical data and applying this algorithm. So through all the new generations of equipment and generations of the various ways to process data, we are where we are today, which is having the algorithm live in the NinjaTrader platform so that you can see our analysis projecting from a 5-minute to a weekly basis. So let me go to the next slide. Unfortunately, Anthony, who is the Chief Technical Officer and the person that has really helped us to get the cloud computational capability so that we can basically provide the analysis in a very seamless way, and a way that you just, all you're looking at is the graph. There's nothing that you have to do. But unfortunately, due to the storm or the nor'easter that has hit the New England area, and Anthony is on Long Island, so he is not able to join us today to really go over some of the technical aspects, but we will get through that, and I will share with you how we apply the analysis. What we'll go over today is pretty much the history, the mathematics, markets that we support, and the components and the multiple time frame applications. And the installation settings is what we would be emailing to you if you choose to subscribe to our research. So again, this analysis was, really, got me interested in this because of the book Profit Magic of Stock Transaction Timing by J.M. Hurst. Hurst cycles are a very basic legendary cyclical analysis used by a lot of people all over the world. So I'm going to skip through this and get to a chart while I read some things. So first of all, the analysis is really an engineering research application that we go through a detrending process and find the cyclical components in a historical database. We are then projecting into the future and understanding that we don't have the Holy Grail. We don't have something that is magical and can just give you tomorrow's forecasted behavior of a market, but we're trying to extract long-term cyclical information and provide a projection within specific parameters and boundaries. The mathematics that have gone into this program are very unique. And it's really a new approach to cyclical analysis. Our methodology employs very proprietary statistical techniques to obtain cyclical information from historical price data. We use other types of frequency domain techniques to really refine and give us a much more predicted price projection. And in our experience, we have found that this predictive value is very relevant and can be very helpful to the traders. And components of our analysis from this cyclical information that we're working with, and it's depending on the time that we analyze. And some markets have a higher percentage of cyclical accuracy than others. Therefore, we project within probability bands. So we're trying to give you a projected probability that you can then take and utilize your trading techniques or your trading toolbox that gives you your buy and sell signals. We're trying to help you have a higher confidence of the projected probability. We're not perfect, but we have another level of analysis that has real mathematical relevance. And it's just something that I've worked with, for 40, well, really 30-something years, and found that the best saying from a client that I had was, I may not always be right, but I'm usually not wrong. And that's because we really have a relevant value that we're extracting from historical data. So let's move forward here. So as we look at the analysis, you can see that when you look at a chart in NinjaTrader, you see the actual chart on the top. This is the analysis. The blue line is the cycle summation. If it goes into the future and it's red, that means it's projecting down. We have two upper level resistance. We have the first resistance level and the second resistance level. When you go into this zone, whether it's on the resistance on the top or the support on the bottom, those are when you start to reach extremes that provide meaningful information for making a decision as to how you might be utilizing this to help in your trading decisioning. So let's go to the next slide. And the markets that we cover, we have a very extensive Forex analytical base. We do the energies, we do the financials, we do the metals, agricultural, and we've recently added the Dow 30 Plus. Now what I mean by the Dow 30 Plus is that in the Dow 30 stocks, understanding that we require a very large amount of history, there are two from the Dow Jones 30 that we don't have. We don't provide research on Goldman Sachs or on Visa because of the short history. So we've added a number of extra large cap stocks to our Dow stock analysis. Time frames that we analyze, we do 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute, 120, 240, daily and weekly. And that allows you, when you're trading it live, you can actually watch a 5-minute chart. For example, here is an example of a 5-minute Eurodollar that if you were running this program live, you would have seen the analysis projecting down on a 5-minute basis. From there, we go to a 15-minute chart, and you can see what the analysis might have been indicating on the 15-minute basis. Here's a 30-minute chart. Here's a 60-minute chart. Here is a 120 and a 240. Now, obviously, we like to look more at the longer-term analysis. This was a 240. This was a daily. And this is a weekly. So you can go through all the different time frames to see what your forecasts would be indicating when you are utilizing this program. Now, in our utilization of this and trading, I always like to look at what I call the commonality. If I find multiple time frames in agreement, then it reinforces my confidence of the direction and the projected cyclical behavior of the market. Here, for example, is how we use the extremes and how we can trigger what we call opportunity zones. Now, here was a 240-minute analysis of the E-mini. The market had broken down and had hit our lower extreme, and you will get a bar which paints and we call it the opportunity zone. What the opportunity zone represents is not a signal to buy or sell, but it's simply a signal that we have reached an oversold condition with the cyclical projection being higher, which was green. So this would be a clue for you to start watching, and maybe with your trading technology or trading tools, that this might have given you a signal to do something. So we'll go to the next one. As you can see, from that extreme, we got a reaction back to the upside. Again, that was not a signal to buy or sell. It was just a signal for you to say, let's pay attention here. We've reached an extreme. There's a probability or likelihood that we could get a reaction from that area. And here's a good example, and this is real-time examples of what was actually being seen by people utilizing the QuantCycles program in NinjaTrader. And from that next level, in fact, let me go back, we got up to a level, and a lot of times we don't necessarily reach the extreme, but the projection did turn red. red indicating that the market had a probability of going lower. So from there to the next one, and you can see that it did go lower, and we came back down and actually reached an extreme again. And as you can see with the green projected higher, there was a probability that we could see a reaction back to the upside. And from there it did. We moved up, reached an extreme there, it corrected. So quite often what you're able to identify from this is maybe an oversold condition in a down market or an overbought condition in an up market. And here, for example, was a classic example of being overbought in an upward projection. So it did not give you any kind of indication or warning that it would necessarily go down. But if you're understanding how to utilize this and you see us reach this level, even in an uptrend, you're likely to get some type of correction or pullback. So from there, as you can see, it did, and it moved back up. But now from this level, you're now reaching a level where it had turned red, because when we reach a point at which the projection, it shows it going down, the line turns red. If it's projected higher, it's green. So when it turned red here, it didn't necessarily reach the upper extreme, but the projected next move was likely to the downside. I'll take you through this. And now, with our analysis, we send out daily alerts. And what are alerts? Alerts are when you have reached an extreme, again, and have a projection moving higher with the time frame that's being utilized here. For example, this is a daily analysis, and this happened to be silver. And we sent this analysis out back, I think this was maybe back in December, that we had reached our lower parameters, our support level, with the projection moving higher. Again, this was not an indication for you to buy or sell. It's just for you to be aware that you've reached a level that the cyclical pressure likely is up. You've reached a lower extreme, and so you would see the market to, probably try to trend higher. So over the next couple of days, we reacted off of that extreme, and we did move higher. So this is a good example of what you get every evening after we have gone through the day's behavior, the market action. We do a synopsis of the daily and weekly analysis, and we send this out to our clients. So this was a signal that was received by our clients. Now here is just another quick review of the time frames, going through the 5 and how we would, let me go back to this 5-minute. Anyway, this is for the people that really try to trade very short term. We have this down to the smallest time frame, which is 5-minute, and then we go all the way up to the weekly. So I'm going to go from there to one of our latest additions that will be sent out to our new subscribers, which is a heat map that really gives you a market, or we call the market analyzer heat map, that gives you an overview of the different time frames. And what you're looking for is the multiple time frames being in harmony. In other words, if all the cycles are up or all the different time frames are down, how you can then apply this. This one just happens to be mostly currencies because I do a lot of currency trading. And on the top is how I look at the chart intraday. This was a 15-minute euro dollar and a 60-minute euro dollar, which from early morning was still showing that the likelihood was still trending lower, even though we were getting some of the higher time frames giving us some positive indications on the euro. So this is just how I personally apply this. Now, right now, I know we're going through this pretty quickly. The analysis that we provide, which is live on NinjaTrader, is $99 for one sector, $199 for all. And the daily alerts are $69 if you just wanted the alerts. But today and over the next few days, if you choose to subscribe to us for either the $99 for just one sector, for example, if you just wanted to go for the Forex, or $199 for all, which would include all sectors, stocks, equities, indexes, metals, energy, you would get free the daily alerts. So this is how we, are providing this on a special discount to NinjaTrader users. All you do is log into our website, www.QuantCycles.com, go to subscriptions, and use the promo code QUIN. And why did I use QUIN? That is the nor'easter that disrupted everything in New England and not allowing Anthony to be on today. So QUIN is the promo code. And, you know, right now, I know I went through this pretty quickly, but are there any questions that I could start taking from the audience? Because I really, you know, want to be able to spend more time, you know, finding out how I could be helpful and how this program could be useful in your trading, especially as a part of your trading toolbox.
So, John, Norman R. asks, do you have a moving live demo about how this works?
We have a lot of demo videos that you can log into our website or send a request to John at QuantCycles, and I will send you a number of videos that show how, you know, clients have used this and how the clients have been able to apply this in, you know, as a part of their trading toolbox. The subscription, by the way, is a monthly subscription, and at this price, you will be guaranteed this price forever. This is a 50% discount over what we normally charge from people that just log into our website and utilize our research. Now, let's see. Let me go back to the chart, this chart. I mean, normally in NinjaTrader, you're going to see, I like the black background, but I did it with the white so you can see a little bit more, you know, graphically what the different parts mean. In this part, the blue is the historical cycle summation. Now, even though you're only seeing, you know, a window of a, you know, fairly small amount of data, the analysis is very data intensive. We are analyzing as much as 8,000 to 9,000 data points. So we have to have a lot of history. So in your settings, when you set up the analysis, you will be requesting in the settings part to be pulling in, you know, probably 9,000 data points, because we require a lot of history. That's part of the mathematical, you know, thing with this program. It's very data intensive. This is real math. This is hundreds of thousands of lines of code. This is not, you know, this is, even though people have said it looks like a Bollinger Band doesn't project into the future, and it doesn't analyze thousands of data points. And someone asks, is there plans to get shorter than 5 minutes? If someone is really into some short-term analysis, I've analyzed down to a 1 minute basis. The problem with a 1 minute chart, quite often in some markets, the data becomes very thin, or the trading becomes very thin, so you have gaps in the data. But a 2 minute analysis of an E-mini, for example, there is adequate data. But right now, excuse me, we are only doing down to a 5 minute. But it doesn't mean we can't if people request a shorter term analysis. Now, we have this right now in NT7 and NT8. So we have the application for both platforms. Now, someone's asking, what kind of success rate do you have? We're actually going to be publishing on the website the percentage of probable accuracy within different markets, because some markets have a higher cyclical behavior and a better way of measuring that cyclicality and finding a higher accuracy. So you will find that data on the website. And are you successful in one market over others? Well, I can say that I think historically I have found a better result in heating oil than maybe soybeans. Maybe it's because the heating oil has a higher percentage of cyclical behavior that you're able to extract. But yes, there are different markets with different cyclical probabilities. And when support or resistance area is lower or higher than previous week or bottom, is it okay? You do gauge from the amplitude of the projection. For example, in this analysis that you're seeing right here, the projected time of the projection is lower than the previous projection. So yes, you would expect a larger amplitude or larger degree of decline. But that's not what you want to get wrapped up in or focused on. What you want to get focused on is, for example, if at this point right here, when you had reached your upper resistance level, that you have a higher probability of breaking or moving or trending down. So in consequence, we still would be looking for it to go lower, but you want to stay in the here and now. You want to stay in where we are at this very moment in time, rather than trying to get so focused on the future, unless you're doing certain, it depends on your strategy, but I look more at where we are right now and look at where we are with other time frames. And is there any training provided? Yes, we have an extensive library of videos that talk about the different time frames, talks about how to understand, how the application works, how it should be applied, as well as the settings, the different settings to help it get it set up. And do the channels repaint? Very good question. In this specific analysis, you're seeing it basically repainted because we're doing a complete recalculation of the amplitude, phase angle, and frequencies, which are the components of the math. We do have an option in NinjaTrader that you can go and click on Do Not Repaint, so you can get a realistic view of what it is showing at that point in time into the future, plus how it performed in the past. So yes, you can get a complete non-repaint visualization. Okay, this is not an automated trading program. We are providing you an analysis that is not giving you a buy or sell. This is strictly a research tool that we've developed to add to our other trading tools. And it doesn't use a lot of NinjaTrader resources. Well, it depends on how many data sets that you might be trying to analyze. I know that I have personally used the NT8, applying it to the Dow 30 plus, the currencies and the commodities, and it's not using the resources of my computer more than 30 to 40%. But I do have a fairly new i7 CPU, so it's a decent computer, but it's not maxed out by any means. Can you put a 15+ minute? Well, I wish we had this live, so I would love to be showing you this program live right now so you could see the analysis actually as we're talking. Here is what a 15-minute example would be. And here is a 30-minute. Someone's asking about the 15-minute chart. Are there any other questions? Let's see here. And do we have a demo strategy? Yes. Again, if you go to our website or request, we can send videos that really go through how we are applying this. I get emails frequently from clients that are commenting on how this helps them to be patient, helps them to have a little bit better insight along with their tools. We're not trying to be a standalone trading system. We're trying to help identify extremes and help you with your systematic, or help you with how you're looking at trading the market. And we're not offering any free demo or free time. We're basically discounting the price right now to 50%, and would love for you to test the program, see if it can be something that would help you at another dimension in your trading, because we do apply this to almost every futures market, but very extensively to the Forex. And the website is QuantCycles.com, QuantCycles.com. And let's go back to that page real quickly here. QuantCycles.com. And if you sign up between now and Sunday, you will get the daily alerts free. And we offer $99 for one sector. For example, if you just are strictly trading Forex, you can get just the Forex for $99, and or $199 for all the different sectors and industry groups. And again, if you sign up for either one of those, you will get the daily alerts for free. Yes, the main aspect of what we're trying to do is to give you another level of confidence from the cyclical aspect with the programs that you're using, because this is not traditional cyclical analysis. This is actually trying to, from a mathematical perspective, look at historical data and find the cyclical summations that are trying to give you a projection and a projected behavior. Any other questions?
Hey, John, I see one that I'm not sure was addressed. It says, can you integrate QuantCycles into NinjaTrader automated strategies to generate buy and sell signals if you include this in a strategy that you've created or modified?
Gotcha. No, we don't have that yet. That is something that we are working on, because with the ability to take off the repaint, you can actually go back and see what it would have forecasted without the repaint, so you could get a real understanding of how accurate it would have been, because we're not perfect. I mean, our goal is to be able to give you more right answers than wrong answers. So you would be able to see that from the repaint or the non-repaint. And yes, it works both on NT7 and NT8. And if you have any problems at all or questions, you can email me at john@quantcycles.com. And unfortunately, Anthony was not able to join us today, who is the Chief Technical Officer, because of the storm in New York. That's why our promo code is QUINN, Quinn. That's the name of the storm that just kind of played havoc with the Northeast. Is there anything I'm missing, Jared?
I don't believe so.
And the promo code is good till Sunday night.
Okay. And just so that point of clarification, the pricing, this is a monthly cost or annual cost? Can you just?
This is a monthly cost. This is, you're subscribing per month.
Excellent. And Yeah, I think that covers it. Someone's on the website right now, and he's asking how does he get started, sign up, how does he get signed up, and wants to get the free alerts. But and then there's another question that just came in. If you want to check it out, from John W. If you want to take a
Once you get to the website, you go to Products, go to Live Cycles, and scroll down, and where it says Get Started. And someone's asking about Hearst had strict rule referencing trend lines. We are, first of all, coming at it from the original approach, utilizing his very basic Fourier, or what he called back then spectral analysis, which is trying to isolate cycles mathematically. And what we discovered in the late 1980s is that trying to apply that analysis to the raw data, you had a problem with what we call the trend. The trend impact on that approach skewed the analysis, which is what led us to detrending or smoothing our data and applying it to a detrended format. So we've advanced what J.M. Hearst was doing by light years, especially from a very unique mathematical process. So we are taking that historical data, detrending it, and then extracting the cyclical components, and then giving you the current analysis that you see from QuantCycles projection program.